What is up, my beautiful people? Happy Sunday fun day. How are we? I hope we're coming through. Sorry to eat a nut on mic. That sounded bad. Holly's just finishing up a work call. Working on a Sunday, working on the Sabbath. Can you even imagine? Hey everyone, so nice to see you. Thanks for piling in. She'll be here in just a sec. This is the earliest we've done this stream, so thanks for being a part. It's kind of funny. I got on here and immediately 5 people drop off the stream. No Holly, no stream. We got some real sweeties in here today. What's up, Ty? What's up, Jen? Amy, Seth, Delta Wave, Lincoln, Jen, Bradney. Wow, look at these beauties. What's up, everyone? So if you're new to the stream, this is something that we've been doing. You've probably heard some of the bonus episode content. And this is where it's all being made, where the sausage gets made. I'm pulling up some of the suggestions here that we got this week. And the way that this works is twofold. We play bingo. I am putting the bingo card in the chat if you're just joining. The way bingo works is there's popular catchphrases on there and topics and things like that. And if you get a bingo, I will send you a climax pin in the U.S. mail. If you win bingo and have already won one of these, you can pass it on to someone else. Excuse me. And the other part of this is we take all your suggestions from starting with Patreon, and we try to incorporate them into the episode. Those can be found in the community chat on Patreon. It's a new feature that some of you are just discovering. I'm also just kind of learning how to use it. Or the Discord, which you can also find. So we're going to talk for a couple. And this is my co-host Holly. But before we jump into to the stream, let's check in with the chat. We had Kristen preach this morning. Amazing. I would love to know the topic. And yeah, the bingo starts whenever you want it to start. If I slip into a grayism, then you can count it. Yes, Galatians 5:22 is fruits of the Spirit. That is correct. So if Holly rattles off her peace, patience, faithfulness, self-control litany, you can get that. And yeah, I'm gonna start going through some of the suggestions here. Let me just pull them up. The other thing that we are considering here is maybe trying to do even some guest episodes recorded live, which would be fun. Oh, another cool thing is so you can chat if you want to jump in the chat. Make sure to sub to the channel. Throw us some thumbs up right now because that helps the algorithm. So smash that like and that sub, and then right after this is the premiere of this week's episode. We're putting all the uncut stuff on YouTube. So if you want to see us improvise it in real time without us actually cutting out all the laughing and things like that, today is a really fun episode. It's Arnie Niekamp from Hello from the Magic Tavern. If you all have ever seen or listened to Magic Tavern, rather, very fun pod and a legendary pod. And so that will be coming out on YouTube right after this, so you can watch it in real time. Virginia said she wasn't going to be here, but you know what? She is here. Holly just said she has to go to the bathroom, and then she'll be here. And yeah, so those are premiering on the YouTube channel too. So yeah, watch the Arnie episode live. We got any Magic Tavern heads in here? And if you haven't gotten some mega swag in the mail, play bingo, and make sure you're getting that bingo card ready. I've had that thing lately where I keep noticing it's 11:11. Anybody ever have that? What is it called? It was the name of a Police album. When you see something over and over again, confirmation bias. I think 11:11 is my new thing. Angel numbers. 11:11 could be my angel numbers. I've been seeing 11:11 a lot and 222. Does that mean I'm going to die soon or get really rich? These are my questions. It really. I'm turning full millennial, y'all. I got CoStar on my phone. I'm technically an elder millennial, which I think should be. Somebody made a great joke on Twitter. The name of a beer, elder millennial, and it was not a Hall & Oates album. What is that called? Gray is gray. Gray will never tell. Gray will never tell. Synchronicity. Thank you, Bradney. That, and it is the title of a Police. Is that a record by the Police? I'm not sure. Ooh, 222. Nice. So 111 are my angel numbers, and yeah. Okay. Well, I'm done stalling for Holly, and yeah, throw us a smash a like if you got it. Okay, so here are some of the things that came in on. I found out I'm a 3 on the Enneagram. I always thought I was a 9. Turns out I'm a 3. So we got some really good suggestions in the chat. The first one we're going to touch on Ted, the Tix kid, the Polish exchange student that is staying with Hallie. Maybe they made pierogies together this week, and maybe Hallie finds a rosary. We'll see. Can you hear me what I'm saying? There was a fun suggestion about the Carmel Balloon Fest, and that Twin Hill. There's Holly. Now everybody can pile in and give a like because Holly's here. You don't need those.
Oh, really?
No. I need them because I will be recording. But
wait, no, I wanted you to say more about people piling in and liking me. I like it when people like me. I ain't nothing if not a people pleaser, but I'm working on it.
So I just started going through the suggestions.
Hi, Kristen.
Ted, the Tix kid, we need an update.
Okay.
Maybe Hallie makes pierogies with Ted and also has found a rosary in his room.
Wait, we did that, didn't we?
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's an old one from last week. Did we? No, I did. Was it pierogies? Gosh, they're all running together. Don't get distracted. I have to get through these. Sorry. Carmel Balloon Fest. Twin Hills has a balloon, a He Has Risen balloon, giant Jesus balloon that floated away.
Like a hot air balloon?
Yeah, hot air balloon.
So people are lost in the Jesus balloon?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if the Carmel Balloon Fest is hot. I would imagine it's hot air balloons. So yeah, we can do something with that.
They said she was thinking of making pierogies for him, but hasn't done it. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, we need
Carmel.
We need Caitlin has become our resident historian of all things mega, and it's really helpful.
That's fantastic. Hallie admires the beigeness of pierogies. Only white food, babes. Only I don't
We got one. Has Hallie gotten into essential oils?
Okay.
Teens in climax are uncomfortable with Gray using the Bride of Christ metaphor because they think it sounds gay. That could That could be fun in their XY Gen Z brains, Gen Alpha brains. Gray thinks the Babylon Bee that the Onion has stolen the Babylon Bees format.
What's that?
Babylon Bee.
Yeah.
That's the shitty Christian satire, but it's not. It's bad
How do I not know about that?
because it's bad. Got to get a Barbie Lou and Donovan Geo update.
Barbie Lou. Ooh.
There's a new restaurant called the Garden of Eden.
Yes.
In Indianapolis, but it's not Christian, and Gray and Hallie are upset by it because they think it might be Buddhist or something.
And yeah, why would those dirty, dirty Buddhists use a Bible reference if that's not a God honoring restaurant? My land.
Okay, cool. Those are what we got. We got anything anything in the chat popping off that we need to touch on?
And it's vegan. Garden of Eden
Garden
is
of Eden.
vegan.
Okay, cool.
That's a great list.
Okay, cool. Hallie learns about Gilgamesh.
Wait, what's Gilgamesh?
The original, like one of the early
It feels like a Methuselah, like was the old Gilgamesh?
Yeah. And all that. We probably need to have a refresher of Gilgamesh.
What's
before
Gilgamesh,
we start
y'all? Noah? Oh. Yeah, was
some Beowulf shit. Always talk about Beowulf.
Ooh, Beowulf.
But Gilgamesh, right? From
was
India,
Noah, but
right?
way before. Oh, it's not biblical, or in the Bible, as in the Bible.
Epic of Gilgamesh. Yeah. Hey, Anna. Whoa, cool people up in here today.
Ooh,
loving it. I think we got a good bit here. Rewrite.
I feel like I really have to bone up on my Gilgamesh.
You gotta all right, are you in a good place to improvise? You're coming from okay.
I'm great. I'm so excited to be here. I look forward to these during the week. I'm like, this is going to be
This
fun.
is church.
This is church.
Yeah, we'll keep it kind of loose. Here's the bingo card one more time if you're just jumping in and joining us. And
these have messed up our world work in our head, because like we were trying to record a regular episode of Mega this week, and I was like, we got to talk about Barbie Lou.
And we were like, well, what have we talked about? And who we don't the
don't
timeline.
Know what's in the timeline
the
of
multiverse
of like the weekend main feed of Mega. They don't know about Barbie Lou who yet.
Right. I don't think Barbie Lou has made it to the main feed yet. So
how do we fix that? Because there is a Barbie Lou now in this world, and we can't act like there's not.
I don't think I can't do anything drastic to Barbie Lou and Tiffer and Mickey. I just got to keep it pretty self-contained is I think the rule of that until we figure out the order of the release schedule.
You can't do anything drastic to her. What are you talking about?
Kill her off.
This sounds very dramatic. Very Game of Thrones. What are you going to do to Barbie Lou? She just got here.
You don't think Barbie Lou's real? Uh-oh. Okay.
Yeah, Virginia's not buying it. Wait, Virginia, why was Indiana bad? Tell me. Virginia just drove through Indiana and
break
was
her
scared.
other foot. Yeah, I mean, I can't break her other foot, or that's gonna be tough. Maybe I will.
Okay.
All right, let's do it. We are rolling, and
save Barbie Lou. Let's have bracelets made. Save Barbie Lou.
Here we go.
Okay, thanks for these great suggestions.
Do these all make sense to you? Or you can always ask me, but Ted, Carmel Balloon Fest, Hallie, Oils, Bride of Christ at Climax, Babylon Bee, Barbie Lou and Donovan, Garden of Eden.
Fantastic.
Here we go.
Okay, great. I got your back.
Got your back. Remember, you're playing for the ultimate prize, a climax pin. If you get that bingo, let's go.
Do you have nuts over there? May I have some nuts?
I'm just gonna eat those on mic.
ASMR. Hiya, I'm Hallie Lubant, and this is Mega, coming to you from Twin Hills Community Church, where every single week we're giving our mega church a tiny family feel. Ooh, we love introducing you to members of our church staff and people from our community, and I always find it to be a treat and a treasure. And per usual, I'm joined by my co-host. He's the youth pastor for our high school ministry called Climax. Please welcome Gray Haas.
Jesus is the man. He's got a plan that you'll understand, Hallie. How are you?
Awesome. You know, I am blessed, and I have been feeling Jesus in my life so much this
Awesome.
week in my walk through the Bible, which I do every year. I read the Bible from cover to cover, front to
Awesome.
back. And it always shows me every morning when I do my devotions, it shows me a passage from the New Testament and from the Old Testament. And a
Awesome.
lot of times there's commentaries in there that you can read about how the two are related.
Oh, I
Isn't
love
that
that.
neat?
Oh,
Isn't that
and you
so
can make
cool?
those connections and
The
those links.
prophecies came true by different authors.
Uh,
We're writing things that came true. You see, now people will try to go to these psychics and be like, tell me if I'm going to get the job or not, or is this cancerous or not, or whatever, or trying to talk to a dead relative. Well, you know what? That's all just snake oil, fake fiction stuff. But luckily, we have the Spirit of God that really does speak into our lives and
ultimate
gives
truth.
us direction. And it's not magic that one
No.
day we're going to be in heaven and have perfect bodies. It's just reality because we believe it.
Speaking of snake oil, Hallie, I've actually been getting into some essential oils, and it's
is that
funny because
right?
one of them is actually derived from snake venom, which sounds crazy, but so it is literally a snake oil. But and I'm not sure if I've mentioned it before, but my friend Clay Mason Bannerman and I actually signed up. We made a
CMB.
mistake because, and I hate to name names, but his name's Donovan Geo, and he lives next door to us. But he's kind of gotten into
Donovan
using a lot of
Geo.
supplements, a lot of oils, a lot of different things just to improve performance. And he said, look at this new oil that I've got. You can put it on your skin and it takes away your wrinkles. It's basically a topical, almost like topical Botox. I said I don't really have wrinkles because look at me.
You're so young.
Yeah. But Clay used it.
Oh.
And Clay
he's a
had
grandfather.
Well, he's not really, Hallie, but
he has a grandson, a grandchild.
but he's raising him like a son.
Hmm.
And Clay put this stuff all over his face, and of course they don't call it snake oil; they call it puffer paint or something. And it really did a good job, Hallie. There was one. It basically does to the face what a snake goes through when it sheds its skin.
Wow.
So you paint it on. You wait for 2 days,
and you molt,
and you peel. Your skin just peels off in one single sheet.
Wow.
And Clay looks amazing.
Well, yeah,
and
he's a silver daddy.
And then this kind of weird thing happened, Hallie, and it scared us to death because Clay just threw his face away, his old face away in the bin.
Oh, I would keep that. I think that's something you could throw into like a scrapbook or something. Throw it in his baby's book or his baby book. He probably has his foreskin or his belly button in there. Everybody, I have my belly button in my baby book.
Oh, okay. And anyway, Popsicles dug it out of the bin.
Oh, Popsicles.
And he was wearing it around the house, and so I walk into the room, and I was so startled because I thought Clay had Benjamin Buttoned himself or something because there was this little kid with an old face on, and it was just. And I said, so it was Clay. It was like it looked like little Clay in Y fronts with a.
This is like Face Off, a movie between. I think it was there was a movie.
Oh,
You're
yeah, I
probably too
remember
young
this.
to remember it,
I
but
don't
it was
remember
with
it.
Nicolas Cage.
And Robert De Niro, I think.
Yes, and they traded faces.
Yes.
And so Popsicles was
Wait,
wearing.
Trading Faces, was that also a movie? Trading Faces?
Yeah, that was Twins with Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Anyway, this was terrifying because I
Wow,
walked
I'm
into the room. It's
sure.
just Popsicles and his wife fronts, and of course he's got Clay's face on, and he just goes, "I think you're looking for me," and I was like, "I cannot with
Nobody's
this anymore.
looking for you,
I
Donovan.
cannot with
Put
this
some
anymore."
pants on.
So that is kind of, that is something that's going on. I'm not really sure why I led with that. Just because you said snake oil, and it made me think of that.
Well, I'll tell you what, and this is the truth. You can look it up at Sephora. They have a lip plumper that I got in a gift
Oh.
baggie from a church small group party recently, where you put on this lip plumper and it has snake venom in it,
I
and
guess a
it
lot of snake
poisons
products.
your lips, and it makes your lips blow up like you got lip injections, and it's because
Really?
you're putting, and it's true, you can get it at Sephora and it works. It stings when you put it on. It really hurts the whole time, but then you got these big smoochers.
Yeah, because you don't really have lips, do you, Hallie?
No, it kind of just goes from like face skin right to teeth.
Yeah.
So but boy, did I feel like I had lips when I poisoned myself with some snake venom from Sephora. But speaking of essential oils,
Yeah.
um, I feel like in in my book club, one of the girls, Karen Grachi, she's been bringing not snake oil. She's been bringing essential oils, in introducing us to different things, like and because. And I did buy some from her because
really?
one of my daughters,
Oh, which one?
the one who smells like a skunk and keeps making brownies, she wants to not use dryer sheets because they're bad for the earth. And I says, guess what, hun? It's
Dryer
hot out
sheets?
because it's summertime. All right.
Right.
It's not global warming. It's called a season. Get over it.
Oh, that's the one that walks around and and basically electrocutes anyone that's near her because she's just an absolute ball of static energy.
Yes, because she won't use dryer sheets, but she wants to use these felted balls that you put essential oil in, and you put that in as your dryer sheet, and it's sustainable, and you don't have the one-time use waste of a dryer sheet or whatever that nonsense is that she's talking about. So I did get some essential oils for her so that she would stop shocking everybody, because she's also the type of person who will like rub their feet on the carpeted room and then come over and touch you. One of those people who thinks it's funny, like a comedian, to put a zapper in your hand and come shake your hand, or put a whoopee cushion under you.
That isn't comedy.
Like, people
I don't
think
get it.
farts are funny, and you know what? It's not.
It isn't.
No.
And Hallie, the shocking thing about this is that it's a slippery slope, isn't it? Where you start doing something like putting little lamb's wool balls of essential oils in your laundry. And then what's next?
The next thing, you're at a lesbian festival where everyone thinks they're witches, and they're standing around a big brew pot on a full moon, throwing essential oils, probably anointing each other with oil and putting oil in their underpants or something to try to make their downtown smell like lavender or some such. And you know what? I always tell my daughters, it's a self-cleaning oven down there. You know what I mean? You just kind of have to like let it be. And don't I don't even want my daughters really washing it, because I don't want them investigating it.
I mean, the next thing you know, she's going to be standing in a field smoking a clove cigarette and listening to Chapel Rowan or something,
Yeah, and loving herself or loving another woman in a way more than friends. And you know what? I feel like the Bible gave us a beautiful image of friendship in Jonathan and David.
Oh, the best.
Just two best friends,
the ultimate bros,
who love to hang out. They were probably spotting each other, if they were doing bench presses or whatever the equivalent was back then. Maybe it was just lifting a sheep over your head, or, taking one of your bow and arrows and, like, using it as like a mobility band or something. I don't
Yeah.
know. What do you think David and Jonathan did together all the time, hanging out?
I guess it's probably not dissimilar to what Clay and I do together, because I
Yeah.
really think when I think about a biblical
That's awesome.
relationship, I do think about
Blessed.
Clay.
That's awesome.
But yeah, support each other, obviously work out, check our portfolios, our stock portfolios,
Take your
compare
face
notes,
off.
talk about investing. Yeah, I guess sometimes
I
take our face
noticed
off.
you and Clay have been doing those eye patches, that have a lot of like moisturizing in them, those face masks, people wear on the planes and stuff to, keep hydrating their face. Maybe that's why you don't have any lines under your eyes.
No, Hallie, I'm sorry. That's not one of those. That's my I didn't realize that's my Breathe Right strip that just got accidentally. It kind of must have moved over under my eye. No,
That's
this
a
is my
Breathe
Breathe
Right
Right strip.
Oh.
I always wear a Breathe Right strip, Hallie.
Is that right?
This
For
is
better breathing? Do you feel
yeah.
like it makes a diff?
Oh, yeah, Hallie.
Oh, speaking of making a diff, are they the same or are they diff? What's happening with your girlfriend Tiffer?
Oh, they are definitely different. Because
There's 3 of them.
yeah, now we've got Tiffer and Mickey and Bobby Lou. And Bobby Lou has decided to move to Indiana, she said.
Wow.
And that is because, well, at first she said she got a job here. And I was like, okay, what's your job? She said marketing. And I'm like, well, that's a red flag, because if anyone ever says their job is marketing, it's not really a real job. You know what I mean?
Oh, is that right?
No, marketing is not a real job. It's just what you say to, possibly,
Is that an unemployed person just lying and saying they have a job because you can never prove whether or not you have a job in
you
marketing?
can never prove what you're
Oh,
marketing. You know what I
wow.
mean? And so she said, I got a job in marketing. I'm moving to Indianapolis. And then, wouldn't you know, guess I go up on the roof the other day to the new to the new sun deck, and guess who's up there with Donovan Geo?
Barbie Lou?
Yeah.
Oh, she's here. She's in the flesh.
She's here, she's near, and she's but I gotta
Getting
get
used
her
to
out
it.
of here,
Mhm.
because it and of course, because of Tifa's injury, she also has a broken foot. So I just am seeing Donovan up there with her, and I'm like, okay, how'd she get up here? He's like, I carried it and I can't carry her down. So now I've got to carry it. Every time she wants to come over, I've got to do a shuttle run up the steps with carrying Bobby Lou on my back.
You're carrying your girlfriend's twin around on your back?
I mean, I have to, Holly. I have to, Hallie, because she has to get up to the roof.
Does that make Tiffer jealous? I think if Lance was carrying my sister Candy on his back, I mean, Lance and I try to really Mike Pence it, you know what I
What's
mean?
that
And
mean?
not carry other people on our backs of the opposite sex. I mean,
Oh,
when we fly Southwest, we say, okay, we're going to get to the row. And if it's a man sitting in there, then Lance will go into the middle seat. If it's a woman, then I will, so that we don't have to sit next to someone of the opposite sex on an airplane,
but well, I mean, I don't really think of it like that with her, Hallie, because of course I look at her and I'm like, not even, I don't even look at Bobby Lou and consider her a woman or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Because but do you know what I mean?
It doesn't feel like you're carrying a woman on your back. What does it feel like?
It can't,
Like a sack of potatoes?
well, a bit heavier than that. I mean, it feels like I'm carrying
Is she dead
like the
weight, or
heavy
does she
bag.
hold on like a chimpanzee?
Well, I make her hold on. I don't let her hold on to me front ways. I carry her. We're back to back. So her back goes on my back, and then she wraps her arms above and around her head and grabs onto my neck. And I don't use my hands, so I'm never touching her. And then I just sort of carry her up. But I'm saying I don't consider her, I don't think of her like a lady, because, Tifa, they look exactly alike. And I'm like, I already have one of these.
Yep. Your box is ticked, your hole is filled. You have a lady in your life. So this is just sort of I don't know. It's you got a monkey on your back, as far as you know, getting her up to the sun deck. It sounds fun. I'd like to see CMB's sun deck.
Oh
That
yeah, it's
sounds
not
fun.
really open to the public. How are you, Hallie? What's going on with you?
Well, like I said, I got some essential oils. It's different when a Christian goes to an essential oil party because that's more just like a fun, you know, community building thing. And we're not using it for all these witches brews thinking that they have some power or
Mm.
something. Lavender, guess what? It just smells nice.
Yeah. Just don't put
Christians
it.
have a healthy perspective on it. We don't think it's like some kind of crystal magic that all of a sudden puts us in a Christina Ricci movie. We're just like, hey, this lemon verbena is going to make this room smell nice if I put a few dabs in the humidifier. You know what I mean?
And you have to use every tool available, Hallie, because now, with medicine, you can't really trust doctors anymore. You can't trust all that stuff. And if there are basic ways to stay healthy, that's probably a good idea.
I have a Christian doctor.
Oh, awesome.
And because of that, I know I can trust him.
Oh, the dentist.
Yeah. Dr. Chris.
Yeah.
He's awesome. He can treat you for anything.
One-stop
he's
shop.
given me chiropractic adjustments.
Oh, really?
And it's been really nice, but anyway, so yeah, I've been buying some essential oils and using them the way Christians use everything with we're very pragmatic, we're very practical. Yep. We're not like, I think Catholics will take oils and they'll use incense in a service and stuff. And
Losers.
It's like, give me a break. We're not in the medieval times anymore where like everyone is stinky. We have showers now. So like update your church services, get a drum kit, get some strobe lights and smoke the room, for crying out loud. You got to keep the Bible relevant.
In all the wrong ways. I mean, I really feel like the Catholics were the original ones to smoke the room, but now it's like, hey, we can do it in a much more modern, less smelly way. And I think that is why our church is growing by leaps and bounds. And you go down and you pass St. Pat's or St. Mark's or whatever, there's like 13 people there, and you're going, hey, maybe update it a bit.
Yeah. I mean, the reason Catholicism starts with a C is because it stands for close but no cigar. Okay.
Oh, I love it.
So
well, not Catholicism. I love that little phrase you just came up with.
Sometimes it's hard to I worry that sometimes I get pride. And the Bible says pride comes before a fall, and I don't want to be proud. I know that it is, not becoming of a woman, or far be it from any Christian to have pride. But sometimes it's hard for me to not feel proud that like we actually have the one true faith. I mean, because honestly, it's humbling to be like, of all the belief systems in the entire world, all these people some are close but no cigar, and some are way off.
Oh,
I mean,
some are so
Hinduism,
off.
I'm like, I don't get it.
What?
I don't know what's going on.
I'm like, Hinduism,
different
what?
animal heads on
How
different
many do you
bodies. And I'm
have?
like so confused. I'm like, we just have a talking snake. And that is, pretty like, I mean, that might feel mythological, but it was real.
One time I converted.
I'm not making it up.
A Hindu to Jesus, which was awesome. And, this was back, I think it was on a Young Life trip many years ago. We did an awesome missions trip to Florida.
Awesome.
And it was so great because do you know that a lot of Indian people living in Florida, Hallie, and a lot of them are Hindu. And so we would go into their community, and I had one guy come up to me and say, what are you all about? And I said, I'm going to turn that around on you. Okay. I'm going to have you tell me the names of every single God that you have. And this guy looked at me and goes, I can't do it. And I was like, what? And he's like, I can't do it. I can't name all the Hindu gods. And I was like,
and yet you've devoted your life to this thing. You can't even name the gods.
That's right. And then I was like, hey, guess what, bud? I got one word for you, Jesus. And Hallie, it was, talk about the scales falling from his eyes. It was almost like a face peel. He looked at me and goes, that is so much easier.
Yeah. And it's Einstein said the simplest answer is probably the correct one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Einstein said that.
That's awesome.
All right. Was that Nelson Mandela?
That was sorry.
I think
I
it
always
was.
get Einstein and Nelson Mandela. They're so similar.
Well, that's called the Einstein effect.
hmm Well, I I wanted to ask you what was up in climax because my son Day came home and was talking about, were you doing some kind of wedding thing or were you doing like
Ugh.
fake weddings in climax or what
I
was
don't
it?
know what's going on in climax right now, Hallie. Honestly, these teens are just they're so annoying now. And I hate to say it like that, but with this new generation of teens, 3, 4 years ago, they were a little bit easier.
Mhm.
Now with this alpha gene or whatever, or alpha gen or whatever.
Yeah, it's the internet.
I mean, I think I used the metaphor of the church being the bride of Christ.
Awesome.
And they got all into first off, they were like, okay, that sounds they were like, some of them were like, that sounds a bit gay. And I'm
Gay?
right.
I'd say maybe it sounds like a horror film, Bride of Christ, but it doesn't sound gay.
No, it
There's
doesn't sound
nothing gay. A bride isn't gay. A
The
bride
Bride of
is
Christ does sound like a horror film, doesn't it? Sometime. I mean,
I
like
think
that
it
would
is
be a
a horror
cool
film.
Christian horror
Yeah.
film.
It is. Yeah.
Hey, I know some movie producers. They did Fireproof, Walk with God, Walk in the Clouds, Walk the Line, some of the other walking movies. And if any of those producers are listening, I think I could come up with a pretty awesome horror movie called The Bride of Christ.
Kirk Cameron, are you listening?
I know he does, and that would be fun. But I think they're just confused now, Hallie, because well, first off, they don't understand marriage at all anymore. They're always like, well, what is marriage? Is it? And I'm like, marriage is between a man and a lady. And they go,
That's right.
No, it's not. You can get married to anyone, anything now.
Oh, can I marry this
Anybody,
envelope then?
according to them.
Oh, wow.
That's what they come in and say.
Well,
And I guess this is also, I mean, speaking of Chapel Roan, I'm just so sick of hearing about her. But, she's this new singer, Hallie, and she's just like, do whatever you want or something. So they come in with all these preconceived ideas where they go, well, you said Bride of Christ. We don't even know what marriage is anymore. So they don't even really understand what the imagery and the metaphor of Bride of Christ can really mean.
well, it's clear when they say it sounds gay that they don't know what the heck marriage is because
they think of gay.
There's never been a bride. Let me just like hit you with some facts, folks. There's never been a bride in the history of anyone being a bride who was gay. And here's why. The very fact that she's a bride. It's in the definition. What's a bride? It's a woman who's about to marry a man. And no woman has ever been a bride that is gay. Because by definition, she wouldn't be a bride. See?
That is true.
I mean, that's
really
just
true.
what I think C.S. Lewis would call just logical thinking. And what Nelson Mandela has always said is that the simplest answer is probably the right one.
That's right. Well, my teens who come to climax, Hallie, honestly, they're just a little bit, I don't know. I just don't really relate to this generation in the way that I used to. It used to just feel so vital, so interesting, and so important. And, I'm being vulnerable here. I'm not saying I can't lead them strongly to Christ and that ultimately all of them will lead good Christian lives. I'm just saying this new generation, they're just a bit annoying. They're a bit annoying.
Well, it's because of their access to porn, honestly. It's just destroyed the youth of America.
I mean,
that
must be what it
toddlers are
is.
grabbing their mom's phone as early as toddlerhood and looking up porn and searching these porn sites, and that's why you got to either get a Christian app on there that'll wipe your hard drive if you search porn, or why you just have to. I don't know. My son Day wants to flip to a flip phone. He wants to switch. He's like,
really?
I don't want it, Mom. The little
He wants
red
to escape the Matrix is
the
what he's
little
always
red
saying.
dot on your phone gives you a hit of dopamine, and these Silicon Valley is like addicting you and stuff. And I'm like, honey, I'm just looking up a coupon for Marshalls, while I'm standing in line.
I had something similar happen with I hate to bring him up and I hate to name names, but Popsicles. No, Popsicles, Hallie. I was saying he somehow got a hold of a phone, and I don't know if he just, mashed it with his chubby little fingers or what, but something came up. I think it was called like I can't really remember the exact name, but I think it was called Principal Butt 4.
Principal Butt 4.
Principal Butt 4 is what it said. And it was like, I don't know,
For
some
the
kind,
grace of God go he.
yeah, like some kind of naughty principal that would like spank butts of all the of all the guys
Oh,
in
well,
the school.
corporal punishment's okay.
But
The
I was
Bible
just like,
says,
look, I don't
spoil
know
the
where you
rod.
got that, but just put that down. I can't
Okay.
remember the exact name though. Something else that I was thinking about, Hallie, that I wanted to bring up to you is, have you? And this kind of sort of ties into this whole Hindu thing. Have you seen this new restaurant? It's called Garden of Eden.
Oh, I wanted to talk to you about this because one of my daughters already dragged me there.
To the Garden of Eden.
It's vegan.
I know.
And one of my daughters dragged me to a vegan restaurant.
And I think it's a front, Hallie. I think it's one of which daughter?
The one who thinks cow farts are killing the sky for some reason. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this you can't even write mythology this good. But so she's dragging me to Garden of Eden, and I'm excited because at this point I don't know it's a vegan restaurant. I think it's a what? I think it's a Christian-owned business. Hopefully a nice Christian-run small business like Hobby Lobby.
Right.
And we get there and there's not a burger on the menu. It's
No.
all this weird stuff. They got seitan, and I'm like, well, that sounds like Lucifer, Morningstar,
Exactly.
the devil, Satan. We're
It-
eating Satan at a vegan restaurant.
Exactly. I mean, I knew it wasn't Christian, so I don't ever go to a vegan restaurant just because I'm afraid of contamination. But I went. The first thing I noticed, and when I was like, Garden of Eden, that sounds cute, and it sounds like it could be Christian. But as soon as first thing, there was no flaming sword in the doorway, so I knew it wasn't Christian.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I was like, if this place is really going to kind of like give us some symbols and stuff, they'd probably do something like that. But yeah, I walked right by that place, Hallie, and it is packed. It just like lines around the block, and so I might have to go witness into the line
Well,
because it's just insane.
definitely. And also make them change their name because it feels like a bait and switch, doesn't it? Because they say Garden of Eden, and I'm like, this is awesome. This is a Bible story. You know what I mean? And then I go there and it's a vegan restaurant and they're pushing Satan on everyone. And it grieves the heart of God. I mean, is what it does.
Yeah, I mean, do you remember? There was another place, I can't remember. It was a fun name like that. It was kind of a fun sort of spin on a Christian thing. I think it was called um, Balls of Balls of Jericho. Did you remember this?
Of course I went to Balls of Jericho.
And they just served, it was all ball based food.
I liked that. I like a meatball. I like a, ice cream ball, the spherical food. It's good.
Right. So it was, mozzarella balls. It was
Rice
meatball,
balls.
rice balls,
Cheese balls.
ice cream typically comes in a ball form. And yeah, and I was like, Balls of Jericho. Oh, this is also going to be Christian. Turns out Jewish, Israeli food.
Israeli food.
Yeah. And when I'm like, what is that?
I think it's hummus and tabbouleh.
Right. And none of it.
Gyros. You got to get a gyro if you're in. I went to the Holy Land.
Yeah. It was basically they took Israeli food and put it into ball form. I guess, the only thing I can think of that really comes in a ball form that is Israeli food might be, what are those like?
Pomegranates?
Yeah, those other things. What do you call them?
Breasts?
Hallie, no. The little green ball things that they fry that they put in things.
Falafel?
Yeah, I think that is it.
No, lamb. You're talking about, see, they have to eat lamb over there because they're shepherds. And so they're making gyros, they're putting yogurt on it. I'm like, you're getting close again, but no cigar. Like you have to have heard of sour cream at this point. You think they could get some imported?
No, it's like this little ball thing. It's like they fry it up and it's like an Israeli thing.
Chickpeas?
No.
What? Give me more of a. Okay, they fry it.
It's a ball. They fry it. It's a ball shape.
Eggs?
No.
Um. A ball.
It's in a ball form. Sometimes it's in a kind of it can be in an oval.
Is it an
but
actual testicle?
no.
Oh.
Oh, you know what? I think it is falafel.
Oh, it is falafel.
Well, you didn't say falafel.
Well, falafel. Yeah.
Did you say falafel?
Yeah.
No, I don't think you did.
Yeah.
I don't think you did, Hallie.
Yeah.
I would have known if you said falafel.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So don't just something to all the community. Make sure you're not going to Garden of Eden until we really vet that place, because just like Balls of Jericho, they tried to latch on to Christian branding so that they can drive business, and there's a line around the block.
Go to Don Protini's.
Don Protein is the best.
The name isn't Christian, but that's okay. The ownership is
closed on Sundays. That's how you know.
Yeah, we know Don Peacock, who runs it, and he is a God honoring man. He's a Christian guy. I think I heard that he has a card game that he runs out of his garage, which is we don't like it, but he's close but no cigar. It's like he's doing a small group, but they're playing a card game instead of talking about the Bible.
Well, what kind of cards is always my question, Hallie. You have to ask.
If it's Uno, I think God likes Uno.
I think God loves Uno because he's the one true God.
See, there are teaching metaphors everywhere. Speaking of, were you at the hot air balloon?
Oh yes, we killed it. Carmel Hot Air Balloon Festival. I think balloons are typically pretty boring. I mean, what's the point? Why do you go up?
They're not fast and they're not furious.
And definitely, it's sort of like, yeah, you can get the same exact experience by buying a ticket on Southwest and at least have a little bit more fun, because at least they're fun on those flights. I did a hot air balloon one time. Not sure if I mentioned him before, but my we did a hot air balloon ride one time for his birthday, and it was fine. But
wow, that's a epic kind of birthday present. A hot air balloon ride. That's like when my husband Lance Labont and I tried to get on a gondola in Venice for our anniversary, and he ended up having to sit on a heart-shaped love seat with a guy from Ohio because the gondolier had to distribute the weight around the boat. And I was like, I wanted to be in the heart-shaped love seat with my husband Lance Labont on our anniversary, not him sitting by a guy like some kind of gay thing.
You have told this story before, Hallie, and I'm wondering, have you ever had an anniversary with Lance that's a good anniversary?
Well, one time he got me body wash from Walgreens, and I could tell he just got it on the way home from work. And he just sort of threw it at me and then plopped down in his lazy boy, put his feet up, and watched ESPN on his phone and on the TV at the same time.
What kind of body wash?
It was a good cucumber mint, but that's so Bath and Body Works early aughts, if you ask me.
Oh, he did this recently.
Yeah.
What year anniversary was that?
It was our 18th.
Okay, so not a big one.
It was this last one.
Okay.
A couple weeks ago.
Anyway, Hallie, what?
Well, mint cucumber is not my signature scent.
No.
Have you ever noticed my signature scent?
What is that? What is that?
What do you experience it as? I'd be so curious to know what I smell like to you.
Is it I mean, it's kind of a layered thing, because sometimes it's like, do you put on multiple layers of perfume?
I do, throughout the day in different parts of my body.
Oh, I don't want to know what the parts are, Hallie. I'm just saying. So
they're not bad parts.
Well,
I never spray my cooter. I had a girl in college who used to do that. And you share a dorm room with someone, and all of a sudden your world expands. I'm sitting there looking at my roommate, Monica. She's putting on perfume here on this side of her neck, here on this side of her neck. Then she opens up the top of her tights, reaches down in between her legs, sprays some in there. She had a chronic yeast infection and UTI for all 4 years of college. And I said, I think I have an idea why. And so anyway, I'm just letting you know, I'm not putting it anywhere untoward, Gray.
Okay. I didn't want to know any of that. But what I'm saying is, it smells like maybe you put on one, then you put on another, and that those two mix together. And, it creates what I would say is a small or I would just say like there's an issue sometimes with the it could be a clash of scent.
Oh, like they don't go together?
Well, I just think it's a lot, Hallie.
Oh, well, I really want my scent to move ahead and behind me, kind of the way the Holy Spirit does with God.
Oh, you put one on the front and one on the back.
I definitely do, because I want to be a pleasant experience to be around. I always I floss and brush and scrape my tongue between every single time I eat, because I want my mouth to be sparkling fresh. I never want to have bad breath. And then I keep very high aluminum major secret antiperspirant under my arms. I basically just have a shield of what could be almost just aluminum foil under there, daring these pores to open. And then I shower every single day, because I want to have a pleasant. But my signature scent is passionberry, if you'd like to know.
Oh, okay. Well, I've just recently changed my scent.
Ooh, I love a men's cologne. I do.
Oh, really?
I do. I love men in cologne. Lots of cologne.
I used to just go, for the traditional scent, which, things like Polo, I used to really like.
Awesome. Axe body spray, I thought.
Well, I like Axe when I'm working out, of course, but, Dracar Noir was really one of my favorites.
That one's so good.
But recently, I've gotten into a really nice one. It's called, it's the cologne is called An Assurance of Pardon.
I'm sorry, what?
By Chico Padron.
What's the title of the perfume?
An Assurance of Pardon by Chico Padron.
An Assurance of Pardon?
An Assurance of Pardon.
An Assurance of Pardon?
An Assurance of Pardon is the name of the cologne by Chico Padron.
An Assurance of Pardon by Chico Padron? Wow. Assurance of Pardon?
It's really good. Well, yeah, it's an assurance of pardon. I mean, when people smell it, they're like, that's an assurance of pardon. You know what I mean? It's like a murder of crows.
Like when you walk in, people go, pardon? Because it smells so good suddenly in the room.
Yeah. So An Assurance of Pardon by Chico Padron is mine. What were we talking about long before this? Oh, it was the Carmel Balloon Festival. And we did really, really great work this year. A massive Jesus Christ balloon
specifically
that said he is risen, and
awesome.
It rose indeed.
Yeah.
And I guess something that's fun about it is I'm not sure if it ever landed, Hallie, because maybe something went wrong with the burner or something like that.
Oh no.
But you know what? I think it was a great symbol to not have it land, because you don't want Jesus rising and then coming back down, a few hundred yards away.
Oh my gosh, it's a God thing.
It's a God thing.
I have God bumps.
And I don't think the person piloting that balloon was a member of our church. I don't think we really need to worry about that. We rent the balloons and we put the Jesus up there.
Right.
So that was fun.
We're putting ourselves out there, doing things that, no other, it does make you say, this is church. I mean,
this is church.
We're putting hot air balloons up into the sky, folks, because you got to live a little,
you got to represent.
And when you do that, you're occasionally, you jump out of enough planes, eventually your parachute's not going to open, so we lose one hot air balloon. But I just feel like it's bound to happen, because we're we're out here, we've got small groups going on rapid river cruises and stuff.
Whitewater
rafting in Colorado.
You call it rapid river cruising?
Yeah. And because I always bring a cooler, and that's hard to hold on to when you really hit the rapids in one of those soft kind of boats, and you got the leader up there standing, just getting blasted by water, and you're glad that he's wearing a life vest, because otherwise he'd be in a wet t-shirt up there in front of everybody facing us with his pectorals out, you know what I mean? And you got all these Christian women, maybe some of them single, could be lusting in the flesh. So it's good that he's all decked out and covered up and everything. But
we used to do that whitewater rafting with my teens who come to Climax, and I just got to the point where I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it's just a lot of it's
Wet
just a
t-shirts.
well, yeah, well, of course that, and that's always going to be a problem. I did have a year where one of them, sort of keeled over, and the whole boat was sort of trapped underneath for what seemed like minutes, or what they claim was minutes, and they were all a bit shaken up. And I said, "Well, did you pray when it happened?"
Yeah.
Of course they did. A lot of them were saying, please, Jesus, save us, and things like that, which, he did in the form of a wilderness rescue team that
Yeah.
was able to drop right
You
in.
got a great teaching metaphor right there.
Exactly. But, after that, they were also scarred, as they all say now, and triggered, as they all say now. And I just said, you know what, guys, we're just going to order pizza and play Red Rover as something, because that is going to be less triggering, I
Mhm.
guess, than getting trapped under a giant inflatable
And
boat.
to be honest, what doesn't pizza solve?
What
You
doesn't
get
pizza solve with
pizza and
teens,
it's
at
like
least?
you might be upset about, something that happened in your school or something. There was a shooting and whatever, but man, if somebody shows up with pizza, doesn't that really just kind of save the day?
Oh, it really
I mean,
does.
pizza, just like the Bible says, love covers a multitude of sins. Pizza covers a multitude of traumas, I think. And what is not in the Bible, Gray?
What's that, Hallie?
These are just facts. But Bible doesn't talk about triggered.
No,
Bible
Bible
doesn't
doesn't
talk
talk about
about
triggered.
trauma.
Nope.
Those words don't even appear in the Bible.
Nope.
Guess what the Bible does talk about? Pray. So you can sit around and cry about how you got traumatized on a youth event, by being trapped under a
A large
a
inflatable
river
boat.
cruise boat. Or you can just cast your cares on him because he cares for you. I mean, that right there is a Bible verse, folks.
Awesome.
And you know what? You're not going to have the fruits of the Spirit until you let it go. All this stuff that you're upset about, guess what? It's all already, Jesus died on the cross for it. Everything's fine. Jesus is the answer. No matter what the question is, Jesus is the answer. Unless the question is, like, who put this roofie in my drink? That's not going to be Jesus.
Oh,
So
right.
it depends on what the question is, I
Yeah.
guess. But
for the most part.
Jesus is always the answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, don't get smart, with the questions, because
Well, one question that I want to get smart with, Hallie, is how's everything going with Ted from Poland?
my tick kid.
Your Tix kids, your teen and Christian service, your exchange student for the summer, and are he and Day getting along? Because he, kind of. Well, I mean, didn't you get him to kind of be a positive influence on Day?
Yes, I love having a tick kid because A, it means it's summertime, and gosh darn it, don't I love the summer. And B, it's fun to have someone else around to be able to cook for. I'm heating up all these things for him. I'm making him I made him a whole meal just on a cookie sheet. I just dumped some fish sticks on there from the freezer, dumped some zigzag fries on there from the freezer, even had some sweet potato fries in there, threw them in there. He'd never even seen a sweet potato. They don't have those in Poland. He was blown away.
I don't even know. Yeah, what do they eat in Poland? I mean, is there any?
They eat pierogies and the ingredients that go inside pierogies, and I think they drink a lot of beer. They kind of think it's like water over there.
Oh, well, that's too bad.
And that's problematic. But the thing is, then they get a tolerance and then they don't become intoxicated. They're just having beer with dinner, lunch, breakfast. I think they might put it on their cereal. I don't know. But the good thing is they don't get intoxicated. At least Ted seems sober. His name isn't Ted. It's Teduash or Tedouche or something like that. I'm not going to learn it. I can't do it. They make noises with that language that I don't have the capability to do with my mouth.
I mean, this kind of goes back to what I always think is important. Like, even when someone in the church adopts a child from a different country, I think it's important to immediately assimilate them into the American
don't even
culture.
Acknowledge their culture where they're from. That's not going to help them.
Oh, I remember we had friends, the Fitzpatricks, who adopted a kid from Haiti. His name was Moises Alou, and they immediately just changed his name to Ben.
That's awesome.
And it's like, yeah, we're not going to say Moises Alou. We're going to say Ben.
Because guess what? His his nursery school teacher is not going to know how to say Moises.
No,
You know
I
what I
can't even
mean?
say Moises. I'm not even saying knowing if we can say Moses.
I
We
can
could
say
call him
Moses,
Moses, but
but
are you going to name a kid Moses these
I
days?
physically can't even say the word Moises. I can
No.
say Moses.
Why can't you say Moises?
It's like it's got French origins or something. It's like who knows what. I think in Haiti they speak a mashup. You know how you can mash up a song, you can also mash up a language. I
Sick.
think they mashed something with French.
Yeah, I don't think you should do that. But yeah, so if this is a tip, this is a great parenting tip, even though I'm not a parent, but I definitely feel like I'm a parent of several hundred teenagers all the
Awesome.
time. Which is, if you have a child with a name that is going to set them apart, go ahead and try to change that name as quickly as possible to something that is going to help them fit in.
Do people ever mispronounce Popsicles' name to anything?
Never.
Thank goodness. And that's a gift that you and Clay have given him. And
I don't know why Clay named him that. Well, I guess Clay didn't name him that. Really, it was his biological father did name him that. But I think, not to go too deep into it, but his biological father, did have Popsicles. He got the mother pregnant and she worked at a grocery store. And I think, the first thing that pops into her head when she gave birth was, the last thing she was stalking. And so, that's why she named him that.
That's cool. I like it when people name their kids something like Dallas if it was conceived in Dallas, or, Venice if it was conceived in Venice. And I think that's really cool.
Well,
and a kid gets to think about their parents procreating.
One of my favorite teens, and I don't like to name names, but her name is Gladly. And I think that is such a cute, awesome fun name. And it's even more fun because her parents go, you know why we named it that?
Why?
Look at our last name. Lord.
Oh, it's the Lords?
The Lords.
They have a team named
Gladly Lord.
Gladly
and
Lord.
I just think that is so great.
That's awesome. I mean, that is really, really awesome. But, speaking of my kid Ted, I've been making pierogies for him because you can get those in the frozen section at Trader Joe. And so I was heating up some pierogies for him on the cookie sheet. Again, I'm a big proponent of the cookie sheet dinner.
I think Jen Hatmaker wrote a whole book about that.
Is that right?
Yeah, I don't like to talk about it though.
She's gorgeous.
She's fine.
I think she has a cookbook. It's called Ketchup or something, and it's all the things you can eat with ketchup, which guess what? That's everything.
Yeah.
You can dip anything in ketchup.
You really can.
I mean, one time I got part of my Frosty into the ketchup because I was putting French fries into my Frosty, which is the only Christian way to eat your Wendy's drive-through meal, is to dip those fries in that Frosty. Got a little ketchup in there. I was like, you know what? Ketchup with chocolate? Not too bad. Jen Hatmaker's right. You can dip anything in ketchup, and
she's
it'll
right
work.
about that. Maybe
You can tell
a lot of other stuff she is not right about.
But I'm a little disappointed because Ted isn't hanging out with Day as much as I thought he would.
Who's he hanging out with? There's nobody else.
I don't know, but I was shocked. Speaking of Karen Gracci, I was over at book club at her house, and somebody came late. And she came to the book club, but she came stumbling down the stairs from upstairs. Like she had used the upstairs bathroom, which sometimes I do if I have to do the bad one in someone else's house. I'll tinkle on your first floor if I'm visiting. But if I have to do the bad one, I'm going to go use your upstairs one because I feel
like bad one.
Not tinkling.
No, never mind.
Not number one, but
I rarely do that.
Is that right? That must be because if you only eat shakes all day long for all your protein, you might just be peeing everything out.
Well, I don't want to get
because
too
you
much
pee out liquids. Anything that you drink becomes pee, and anything you eat becomes poo, and there's no crossover. So if you only drink a shake in a day, you'll only pee.
Hallie, and this is all I'm going to say about it, and then it's done, which is if you eat nutrient-rich food that you're using 98-99% of, then you don't need to do the bad one.
You make no waste?
I'm almost zero waste at this point.
Wow. Wow. I wonder if for you, even if you like tooted, if you were
Hallie.
like, if that for you would be, that's the entire exchange of waste that you have to put out because you have used all the nourishment that you put in your body.
I don't have that.
I think
don't
that's
do
cool.
that.
It's like that's what they call a zero sum game, is when basically if someone stays the same weight their whole life, and like if you drink an ounce of water, you have gained that ounce of weight until it comes right back out of you, and then you're back to the same thing. That's what they mean when they say a zero sum game.
Oh,
But
well,
sometimes what I do, I've been sitting on the toilet before and had a bottle of water in my hand and I was tinkling and I started drinking the water, and I realized, as if you ever are drinking at the same time you're peeing, your body's just like a tube and you're just pouring that liquid straight through and it's going right out the other end. It
What?
was a pretty wild moment.
Sometimes I want to remind us that this is a Christian podcast for Christian listeners who are trying to find out what's going on in our church. And if
So-
it ever strays from that, sometimes we need to bring it back. So what is going on with
the book club. So
yeah.
Megan Jacoby comes down from upstairs. She must have been using the upstairs bathroom, but she's just flushed. She's red. She's got the rosiest cheeks ever. Her hair is all tousled. Her shirt is untucked. She it looks like her lipstick is smeared across her face. And I'm like, babe, Megan, did you look in the mirror while you were washing your hands?
I
Like,
think she always
look
kinda
at
looks
yourself.
like that.
And then, she's in her early 40s. I thought maybe it's some
Really? I thought she was
rosacea.
60.
And then my Tix kid, Ted, comes sauntering down the stairs after her. And I'm like, what are you doing here? I'm over at Karen Gracci's house from a Christian book club. Ted's upstairs. And
Really?
I was and Karen Gracci doesn't even have teens that
Okay.
Tick would be visiting. I said, Ted, what are you doing here? And what were you doing upstairs at the Gracci's?
And is he doing that thing? Does he do that thing where he pretends in those instances that he doesn't really understand the language?
Well, it's so hard to understand him because guess what? His English isn't good.
Right.
And I
'cause he
don't-
was, yeah,
I think sometimes he uses English words that he doesn't know. I'm like, I don't think that's how you meant to use it. Somebody taught you the wrong, words. But he mostly hangs out with a lot of like mom-aged women.
Okay.
And they're also all, I don't know what happened with Megan. I'm glad. I hope Ted didn't see her because I don't want him to think that that's what a Christian woman looks like, all, hair tossed akimbo and untucked and everything. But I don't know what he's doing, but he's not hanging out with Day. And I keep catching him with all gals my age, to be honest. But, maybe he's homesick and just missing his mom.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's funny because I've seen him hanging around with, and I don't like to name names, but one of my teens who comes to Climax, cartographer Dixon.
Oh, love the Dixon.
Yeah, his mom actually I saw dropping off Ted to work grounds crew the other day.
Oh, maybe she had him mowing her lawn before. Maybe he's making some cash on the side. I'll ask him. Because he's working as a volunteer at Twin Hills, because we get this great volunteer work done because people are serving the Lord and we're saving money.
We really are.
It's a win-win.
We probably got it. Oh, one more.
Or do you think that can we go out on win-win?
I think we can.
How long did we go? Where are we? What?
That was definitely
Was it long enough?
People are like, yes, it was too much.
They're like, shut up. Shut up.
Wow, that one was wide ranging. I have no idea what we talked about.
Wait, let's name this one while we're thinking of it. What should this one be called? Will y'all help me?
Someone please
title
give a
this
title
one?
of this one because that's
what was
always
a
our
phrase
challenge.
that came up? Yeah. Oh my God.
What a freewheeling episode. Did anybody win? Who won bingo? I know somebody won. I saw somebody said there have been 3 bingos, but if you were the first and number 1 bingo, let me know.
That was I loved the Grays carrying around Barbie Lou.
That's so silly.
Seth got bingo. Congrats.
Awesome. Who was Seth? Were you first in line for the bingo? if you ever win bingo and aren't first and maybe you just want some stickers in the mail, I'm also happy to send you some stickers. If you live in the United States of America, it's pretty easy. If you live elsewhere, sometimes can be touch and go. Thanks, y'all. That was so fun. Doing the bad one. Should that be the name?
Oh, doing the bad one?
Yeah. That's great.
That's a good one. Monkey on Gray's back. Okay.
Heck yeah. I'll send you some stickers, Seth. Adam,
stickers.
first to get
right
bingo.
here.
Amazing. So yeah, Adam, Seth, anybody else who won bingo, drop me a message in Patreon or in Discord, or finally you can send Mega the podcast at Gmail if that's easiest too. And thanks so much for joining the live stream, y'all. This was so
pizza covers a multitude of jobs. Just get the
this
kids
is so
some pizza.
Fun. So yeah, premiering now is the Arnie Niekamp episode, and yes, there was another character called Gladly Lord. Gladly Lord is actually a bit that exists in a real life situation where a friend of ours met a Christian mom at her playgroup, and the kid's name was Gladly Lord.
There's a real Gladly Lord out there in the world.
Sorry, Gladly Lord.
Poor kid.
But thanks y'all for being here. We had 25 plus people in here. That was so fun. And we'll do it again next Sunday. Next Sunday will probably be at 2 p.m. And thanks for jumping in here. Send me messages to get those stickers and whatnot.
What's happening? Will you all keep? What's happening with the Jesus bot? I have to hear the update.
There's a Jesus bot that people like to fight with, including me in the Discord.
I had a friend I was telling about the Jesus bot recently, and they were like, "Wait, what do you mean? I don't understand what that is that you're talking about." And I kept trying to describe to them what it is, and they were like, "What do you mean? Like, is that?" They didn't understand at all, and I was like, "It's AI."
Yeah, it's AI.
And so
I would say it's A. It doesn't have a ton of I.
It has a ton of confidence to be such a know-it-all, like such a. I mean, did he at least stay in the room he's supposed to stay in?
Yeah, we put Jesus in jail. Speaking of, there's some talk in the Discord of there's a wiki that's happening for Mega and doing some listen throughs of past episodes together, almost like a book club. So if you want to join other folks and listen through an old episode, do bits just like this, and populate the wiki. I know people like Caitlin, Virginia, Emily, Megan, I think might be in there. We got a bunch of cool folks in the Discord that are working on a wiki. So let's figure that out. That'll be really fun. And I'll help in any way I can.
It is so hot in here.
It's so hot in here. Everybody stay cool.
Pass out.
And we'll see you next week.
Right.
Go listen to the Arnie episode. It's really good. We tried to convert him today. We get a seeker. It's a seeker episode. So go watch or listen. And
hope you're having a great weekend. Thanks for being here. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Can I read these right now?